top 3 players at each position. Dave, why don't you start us off with the quarterbacks on waivers this week? And I think you can throw Carson Wentz on there. He's above the threshold, but he's at 68%. So if Wentz is number one, or let's just say Wentz is number one in that, not Tua, not Dak, but Wentz will be number one, then who would be 2, 3, 4?
2, 3, and 4 for me are Jared Goff. And then it's a close call. I could be swayed either way between Marcus Mariota at Seattle or Ryan Tannehill against the Raiders. But those are the top 3, and I think Goff's at the top of the list, and I think he deserves it. The Vikings defense played on Monday. It's going to be a short week for them. Harrison Smith is banged up, like you mentioned, and Goff's played well. Listen, Amon-Ra St. Brown is putting up numbers that I didn't think he could put up, but the target share has still been there from where it was last year, and he's still finding others to help him get numbers, including the run game. So I'm good with Goff this week if you're in a pinch at quarterback.
All right, what about long term? And people might, if you have Russell Wilson, I know that you guys know it. People are freaking out about Russell Wilson.
And Brady
should be.
Yeah, Brady, I think there's, more of an explanation. It's the wide receivers.
Yeah, Brady will come
back heavy. Yeah, do you just stick with those guys? I'm not saying you're going to drop them, but do you feel like you need a roster 2 quarterbacks right now if you have Wilson and Brady?
100%.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So Goff, Mariota, and Tannehill. It's just such a drop-off. I'll throw out a couple more names. What if Jared...
Well, hold on. The alternative, if it's such a drop-off, is to make a trade for Trevor Lawrence. If you think Lawrence is going to have a good game against the Chargers, which I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do that. But the trade route is the other way to go. There's going to be somebody in your league that has 2 quarterbacks. They'd be happy to trade one of them. But you got to give up something. Can't go to the waiver wire.
You should be shopping Tua if he's on your bench. I mean, that's the easy one because he's not going to do that again.
It's perfect to go and trade Tua while it's high. It's definitely a sell high candidate.
Yeah, I forgot about Trevor Lawrence. I kept mentioning Tua and Dak Prescott. Lawrence is right in that roster range. What if someone drops Matt Ryan after that horrible performance? He was obviously a lot more competent in week 1 with Michael Pittman. Would you consider going back to him over, say, Jared Goff?
Not this week against the Chiefs.
Yeah, I don't think so. Even though he should throw a lot against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I don't think I would.
Okay. All right, Jamie, who are the top running backs to add?
Pick your favorite Cardinal. So I'll go Darrell Williams over Eno Benjamin, but you should be adding both just in case James Conner's injury is going to be significant. If you need somebody for this week, I'd go back to Mark Ingram because it's a favorable matchup against the Panthers. And, looking at what he did last week with 10 carries for 60 yards, I didn't like the fumble. And Tony Jones played a lot, but still, I think if they're playing with a lead, he'll have a better opportunity this week in a much easier matchup than what he faced against the Bucks. As Dave said earlier, if you're just talking about stash candidate, Brian Robinson should be on the list with what he can do. And the thing you want to do is you want to get ahead of this now, as I wrote in the story, that before it's week 4 and he's coming back in week 5, and people are making a mad dash to get him, and his roster percentage continues to rise. He's been at 63% for the last 2 weeks. So I mentioned him in the story last week. I mentioned him again this week. I think most of the people that are stashing him have IR spots. So the leagues that don't have IR spots, he's probably available. And so trying to find a way to get him on your roster. PPR leagues, if you want to get J.D. McKissic, because the Commander's probably chasing points. As we saw last week, 7 catches on 7 targets. He's capable of that when they're in that type of scenario. So he's not bad. It's not exactly the greatest group of running backs. Jordan Mason, like you said, is a good stash candidate too.
It's another name, right? Mostert.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that he kind of took over the backfield a little bit, knowing that I think I saw somewhere the most routes he's ever run in his career.
Wow.
So Chase Edmonds is clearly falling out of favor for whatever reason. I don't understand why. You were telling me that Tua was going to throw 50 times in a game that they were in, such desperation mode that he would be so little involved was a little frustrating. So Mostert is somebody that clearly Mike McDaniel trusts and might be somebody that can work his way into a flex conversation more in non-PPR than any other format. But we know what running backs mean, and if they like him, you should probably like him too.
I was very surprised that Mark Ingram did not see his roster percentage climb a lot. He's still only 48% roster. I figured 46%. Figured after Kamara was ruled out, that would be a much different story. But
I think what that probably had to do with is the timing of it. It was 11:30. He was ruled inactive. I guess we got the news Saturday night, but it was. I know for me, like in one league, I didn't want to drop anybody to pick up Mark Ingram because I wasn't starting him. It was against the Bucks
same thing,
and one of those situations. So if Kamara is a short-term injury and he's back this week, you shouldn't be picking up Mark Ingram.
Yeah, but I was thinking from a broader perspective. Okay, so Elijah Mitchell goes down in week 1, and we give somewhat of a lukewarm endorsement to Jeff Wilson. Like, you got to add him, but don't spend more than 25-30% of your fab. And that was when we thought Trey Lance was going to be the quarterback, and before TDP got hurt and all that stuff. But we said add him, but not like changing your season. And now James Conner gets hurt, and even if James Conner were going to be out for a little while, I don't know how thrilled we'd be with a shared backfield, a team that's not running the ball very well, and they look like kind of a mess. And just how many guys are there that we would be gaga over if the starting running back got hurt? And I do think Mark Ingram is one of those guys. If it was a long-term injury,
Well, does it bother you that Tony Jones played more than half the snap, or exactly
he had
half the snaps?
2 carries. He's
Played a lot on 3rd and 4th downs. Maybe he was their passing downs guy. Ingram was 2 for 2 on snaps inside the 10, so that's good. But he only played 39% of the snaps. And I don't think he.
How many of that was late, though?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, but
there
it
were
was
3 running backs
simple,
involved. We know he's an older back. Let's just hope Alvin's ribs are okay and he comes back.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just wondering, like, who are we going to spend all our fab on? Right? What are we waiting for?
You don't
Probably one of these rookie running backs
for the
that get
season.
a chance.
Yeah. I mean, what scenario is who's the guy who's worth 80% of our fab?
Well, I mean, you got to remember that as we get into bye weeks and more injury situations, like Zamir White's getting dropped, Rashad White's getting dropped.
Right.
Those are 2 guys, for example, that are going to have potentially significant value at some point during the season. Raheem Mostert may not be added and might be dropped just because people, again, looking to make some moves. And if Chase Edmonds goes down, Devin Singletary gets hurt, Clyde Edwards-Helaire gets hurt. Those type of guys that you're just, okay, I like them. Obviously, Edwards-Helaire more so than Singletary. But if there's an opening to a clearer path for one of the better offenses, you'll get excited about that.
Yeah. Maybe that
Austin
player
Eckler gets hurt. Sony Michel becomes very popular,
I don't like all this negativity about
Rashad White would be one for me. I think that would be a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I wish he had played better with his opportunities last week, but challenging matchup. Challenging offensive line.
Right, exactly. Okay, so remember last week I made fun of Jamie because he was like kind of talking like this, is that a little bit sick? Well, what goes around comes around, because I am now under the weather and feeling a little bit in the throat, not feeling great. Kids had a cold over the weekend, so now I'm getting it. And what I'm trying to tell you is I crushed a packet of, not even the whole thing, of Liquid IV yesterday. It was, I think it was the tangerine flavor, but it also had a little bit of an immune system boost in it. And there are so many different types of Liquid IV, and people love Liquid IV, by the way. You can buy it in bulk nationwide at Costco, or want a little bit of a discount, get 15% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use the promo code FFT at checkout. So Liquid IV is hydrating, basically. It hydrates you so much better than just a glass of water. 1 packet of Liquid IV and 16 ounces of water hydrates you 2 times faster and more efficiently than water alone. It's got 5 essential vitamins, 3 times the electrolytes of the traditional sports drinks, and 10 refreshing flavors that you can get in Liquid IV. Concord grape, lemon lime. Lemon lime is my favorite one. Pina colada, tropical punch. As I said, I had tangerine yesterday. It's non-GMO. It's free from gluten, dairy, and soy. And Liquid IV is on a mission to change the world. For every purchase, they donate a serving to someone in need. And to date, Liquid IV has donated over 24 million servings globally. So it's just a little packet that you pour in your water, you stir it up, and you have a much, much better glass of water. It hydrates you better and it tastes better. Grab your Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco, or get 15% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use the code FFT at checkout. 15% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code FFT at liquidiv.com. Back to waivers. Wide receivers, Dave, who are the best ones to get? I guess I'll ask you, other than Garrett Wilson and Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, G. Wilson's going to be pretty good. I like him a lot. Samuel's going to be great short term. Sterling Shepard is available in half of CBS Sports leagues. I think he's a good long-term receiver that could at least live on your bench. Gallup is worth carrying for the long term. Jacoby Myers in PPR leagues. How about Corey Davis? He's had 2 good games to start the season. This Jets offense has put the ball in the air a lot, and he's still available in over 80% of our leagues. If you're looking for somebody just for week 3, it looks like Rashad Perriman and Russell Gage could be those dudes. Other short-term options include Josh Palmer, Noah Brown, Greg Dortch, Nelson Aguilar, and Patriots taking on the Ravens. Ravens were struggling against the deep ball last week. Aguilar's fast. And if I may give 3 more names, I know you didn't ask for this many, but talking about rookie stashes, Christian Watson, available in 2/3 of leagues. Sky Moore is still rostered in over 50% of leagues. And I'm not going to say it's a mistake to drop him because he's doing nothing, but he's going to come around eventually. And are we 2 weeks away from Jameson Williams joining the party in Motown? He's being held in about a quarter of CBS Sports leagues. Maybe you should see if he's on your waiver wire, and especially if you've got an IR spot that needs some warming up.
Okay. By the way, the Jets lead the NFL in pass attempts. We're talking about Garrett Wilson and Corey Davis for that matter. 104 passes. Number 2 is the Bengals, who played a full overtime game, basically. They have 89. Tied for 3rd, Washington and Arizona. But the Jets have 15 more pass attempts than anyone else. Also, Garrett Wilson leads the NFL in red zone and green zone targets. Red zone inside the 20 or 20 yards and in. Green zone is inside the 10-yard line.
I've heard the green zone referred to as the score zone.
Yeah, whatever. I mean,
Do you
fine.
like that better?
I like the green zone, but score zone.
But I don't know if people know what that is.
I just told them.
Yeah, so just tell them.
People are gonna know what the score zone is.
No, I don't think so either. So just say inside the 10.
That's I often do. Tight end. Jamie, tight end ads.
Logan Thomas is the one you want to look at. Again, if you can find Gerald Everett or Tyler Higbee on waivers, and certainly in 10-team leagues, they're worth starting this week. And they would be the 2 best ones over Logan Thomas. But Thomas would be one. I don't love the matchup for Evan Ingram, but you got to like his involvement. So going to struggle probably in week 3, but should be okay moving forward if he continues to see A+ targets from Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson's offense. And he's only got 1 drop so far in the season, so that's a good sign for him. The third one would be, I don't want to buy back into Mike Gesicki yet, but it was a game where 2 or 3 50 times. The one thing that is something to discover with him is he's starting to get more comfortable in the offense. Is he starting to feel a little bit more confident in his role, and they feel a little bit more comfortable with him because he went from 1 target to 4. Again, pass attempts were certainly up for Tua, going from whatever he had in week 1 to 15 week 2. But they need a third option, and I don't know if Ced Wilson's going to cut it. Obviously, Chase Edmonds not doing the job in the passing game, so maybe Gesicki has a little bit of a bigger role. Again, if Milano plays tough matchup against the Bills, but somebody you might want to keep an eye on. Okay.
By the way, Dan G says Beavis would call it the score zone. That's pretty funny. Yeah. Score. Yeah. Nice. DSTs. Dave, you got any DSTs?
I do have some DSTs. Check to see if the Saints and the Chargers are available. They're widely rostered, so double check on that. If Pittman's not back, the Chiefs DST is going to be awesome. They're available in a ton of leagues. If you don't believe in Daniel Jones and the 2-0 Giants, you can go with the Cowboys. Their defense has been pretty good. They're rostered in 59% of leagues. The Titans get the Raiders. There should be some turnovers there. They're available in 80% of leagues. Also, wait a minute. The Eagles are 29% rostered,
really?
Which is crazy. They are a really good defense. I know they've got the Commanders this week. I think they make them humble. I think the Eagles DST is worth getting. So take everything I said, put the Eagles at the top. Eagles, Chiefs for now, then Cowboys.
What if the Chargers are available?
I think I'd probably take the Eagles over the Chargers.
Let me give you
about the Eagles.
Chargers have I just love their upcoming schedule. Jacksonville, Houston, Cleveland. You just want to sort of set it and forget it with the Chargers. Jacksonville, Houston, Cleveland. I actually don't know that Jacksonville's a good matchup. That's.
I think it might be good for them.
It just frustrated the Chiefs offense. I mean, they're going to frustrate the hell out of the Jaguars.
Right. I think it's a good matchup for the Chargers.
Okay.
Yeah. And Lawrence isn't making my top 12 this week. The offensive line's still a problem.
Okay. And
you need IDPs?
IDP. Oh, kickers first, Jamie. Go ahead, kickers.
The kickers would be Robbie Gould, Will Lutz, and if Harrison Butker's still out, Matt Amendola.
IDP?
I would start with Nate, don't call me Calvin and Hobbs. Slot corner for Las Vegas. He's given you at least 10 points each of the first 2 weeks of the season. Derek Forrest with Washington. I'm not sure what his role will be with Cameron Curl coming back, but you could look at him. Ernest Jones, linebacker for the Rams. Frankie Louvu, linebacker for Carolina, and I'm trying to find a defensive lineman. Let's go with Rasheem Green of the Texans, although I'm not loving him. He's the highest rated guy from last week, at least. Oh, wait a minute. Scratch that. Deron Payne, Commanders. For at least 2 more weeks, he should be good to go.
And we talked about some guys last week that are still available. Marcus Williams for Baltimore is having a massive year, but even without the 3 interceptions, he's doing great with tackles. Marcus Williams for Baltimore. New Orleans linebacker Pete Werner. And Houston defensive back Jonathan Owens is someone I added. He plays a lot, gets a lot of tackles. I didn't check the snap count for him this week.
Hold on. Let me check the rostership for Talanoa Hufanga.
Oh, yeah.
24%. He's great. I'd go get TH.
Okay.